The community behind me is the best ever, and we had Cleve taking care of things. Huge shout out to Cleve. Big thanks to Cleve. Also, big thanks to Junk for kind of coming in as an emergency as well. This wasn't pre-planned, but we threw a bunch of wrenches in our gears, and we still figured it out. So, big thanks to Junkie Flex coming on here with me. How's it going, Junk?
Oh, is that my new nickname?
Oh,
Dude,
100%.
Flex, I like it. All right, I'll stick with Junkie Fresh, but dude, always a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to help you out, dude, in any way possible. But we do have a top 8 looking at us today, and Pulse and Shinblade are going to be coming up to the arena to entertain you guys tonight.
Yeah, Shinblade is definitely one of the newer upstarts here in the Nightmare series. I want to say his first one was like Tournament 5, so he doesn't have a lot of tournament events under his belt for this season, but kind of like in a similar story to Sabazga, who we saw come in at the tail end of Season 4, did really good, couldn't make the finale because of how late he had joined, but just getting a feel for things allowed Sabazga to be starting to threaten here in Season 5, and perhaps Shinblade will be able to do similar as we move into Season 6 if he becomes a regular contender. Currently, though, he's going to be taking on our current Nightmare Series champion of the finale. Not just winning a victory, but our finale champion from Season 4, Pulse. And we're going to see if he can secure that winner's final spot here. Off to a decent start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, honestly, I don't know what's been going on lately. I feel like I'm seeing a lot more Kung Lao plays lately. The guy hasn't gotten any super buffs that I know of, but look at this already. Taking Pulse down to less than 30% health, and even further, he might just take this round right now.
Yeah, one more Z-Hat will chip him out. He'll just chip him out with a Z-Hat. It hits 3 times, doesn't have enough defensive meter to survive all of that, so Pulse is in a dire situation here.
No.
That's not a Z-Hat!
Alright, Pulse looking to maybe turn things around. He has only one opportunity left. Oh, and the hack will be enough.
Man, that is one of the tougher parts about Aaron Black's Fatal Blow, is that the cutscene aspect of it triggers extremely late, particularly compared to basically everybody else's Fatal Blow. So he was actually susceptible to that damage, even though he was about to take him to cutscene town.
Can you actually believe that the bounty for Kung Lao is only 100,000? That's a joke. Oh, but gets him with the amplified second part of that spin. Keeping him in the corner. Now he's going to have to deal with all this extra pressure, but Pulse is no stranger to corner pressure, able to work his way out and get a little space, but right back in. Shinblade gets the wrap and pushes him right back in.
We have Fatal Blow available here yet again now for Pulse, and look at how healthy Shinblade is looking in this opening game here.
Very healthy indeed.
Although,
and there's oh shot from the rifle.
Wow. Dude, I cursed him so hard. Now he's not looking so hot.
Oh, and that's gonna do it. That's gonna get the round to Pulse this time.
He just got a huge grip of that life bar deleted. As soon as we said how healthy he was, he got locked down in the acid with the rifle shots, and Pulse able to turn that back around, basically an 80% exchange there, and that puts us final round to game 1.
Drop those curses. If you see Dream Eater get a curse off, we need to see the new beautiful emo coming out to play. But there's the crushing blow. 310 damage. My goodness.
Shinblade not out of steam yet here, looking to shake off that previous loss. Ooh, the Scud Shot not beating the Z-Hat in time. Pulse is going to go ahead and answer back. Spends a crushing blow here, and Shinblade will keep the defensive meter.
Z-Hat is such good pressure because it keeps you in a state where you have to think about whether or not you want to attack or not. Good use of it, but it's getting very close. Pulse gets the overhead, and
oh no, that could have been it. Oh, but he went for the slide. Shinblade trying to get the Z-Hat off. He got it. He was going to bleed out in that acid puddle, but there wasn't enough defensive bar for Pulse to survive, and that is going to be a brutality to start things off. Shinblade hanging in there. What an opening game, and that is just the beginning of our top 8 here.
Dude, just the beginning, and I'm already at the edge of my seat. My goodness. Wow.
That was super intense. Shinblade definitely showing that he's got what it takes. And really, the only thing holding Shinblade back this season has been his late entry into the Nightmare series. He got the memo a little bit late, came in during the, I think, 5th event, like I was saying, so Currently, he's kind of just fighting for vanity here, and he's honestly doing some favors to some of our other players in the bracket. Players like Arona, players like Blaze, who are just barely at the bottom. Shinblade has been boxing out tons of players, and because of that, that is allowing those other players that had stronger finishes earlier in the season and were sitting on more points as we moved into this to kind of have less to fear about those behind them catching up, because Shinblade has just been sending people out left and right. And in that same token, so has Izzy. Izzy's on the loser side of things with a huge points lead. He doesn't need these points tonight, so he's basically just been gatekeeping here to make sure that some of those lower point placers are not going to make it, or even some of the players that may have not shown up tonight.
Izzy the young goat indeed, coming in and bodying people, even though he doesn't even have to. He's trying to get his exercise in. Here we go, nice grab on top of the puddle. Gonna give Pulse a little extra damage, and there's more Z-Hat pressure. Such a good tool.
Yeah.
Down three, the grab.
The startup of the Z-Hat is arguably the biggest flaw. Here we go. Pulse immediately going to start challenging that. If Shinblade is getting a little too predictable with the placement of that, you can beat it out before it's going to let rip, but of course if he finishes that Naruto signal, it is coming. Oh, caught him again. The pickup as well. Fatal blow. Yo. I think this is going to kill as well. Shinblade with a crazy pickup. Beat him out of the roll. And that will be curtains here for Pulse's first life bar.
Very good reactions coming out from Shinblade.
Round 2, fight.
Taking that first round pretty convincingly. I mean, the life bars were pretty low, but I mean, his gameplay has just been top notch. Here we go, Pulse, make me eat my words, turning things around, gets the slide in, gets a low sweep, and there we go, another sweep, giving him the meaty work.
And Pulse looking real solid here. Rifle gonna lock him down in that acid. Ooh, behind you!
I think Pulse is gonna look for that chip, and there we go, getting the acid out just in time, enough to take round 2.
Yeah, very well done there. Pulse definitely using the tools his character has expertly here. That's part of why he is our current Nightmare Series champion. But he definitely has met a challenge here in the opening salvos of winner's side top 8 here. Scud shot away. I like that he's pulling the Scud shot. The Scud shot will beat the Z-Hat as long as he can get his hand on his gun quick enough. We've seen Shinblade kind of beating it a few times because the Z-Hat was getting launched before he got finished entering the stance, but once Scud shot's up, it's going to beat every kind of hat toss you've got, except for the teleport.
Very nice anti-air from Pulse coming right there, using down one to catch him over that crossover. Oh, very nice. Pulse pushing him into the poison a little bit, but the breakaway from Shinblade. Shinblade's really got to think about what he wants to do, but he
It's gonna crush. Big damage here for Pulse. Pulse absolutely able to stabilize here, and he is going to tie it up here, bringing it back for game 2 in the favor of Aaron Black.
Yeah, Pulse is not a person that you think that would lose his composure after losing the first match. He's definitely one to keep his cool and think about what he needs to do in order to bring things back his way.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is the kind of the mark of a champion. And not only is he a champion here in the Nightmare Series, he was one of the players that also qualified in that the Somebodies versus Nobodies tournament that happened with Sonic Fox as the final boss. He was able to make that top 8 and grab that big stack of cash, $1,000 to everybody that made top 8. So Pulse is really, really solid and has quite the set of accolades following him around here. An extremely talented player, and he's looking to potentially add another one here if he can get back-to-back championship finishes, but he needs the points to make it into the finale.
Lost hive of the kite.
Shinblade sticking with the so-called secondary chosen one.
Yeah.
Kung Lao, unfortunately. I not to steer things away, but I do love the ending of the Aftermath. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but you need to check it out. It's very awesome. Has to do a little bit with Kung Lao, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Definitely need to check it out. Getting into game 3 here.
Okay.
Pulse starting off with a Scud shot to keep himself safe.
Man, I really like Kung Lao's design as a character. A bladed hat, I'm sure it's existed in other shit. Isn't that like Odd Jobs thing in, what's it called, some James Bond movie or whatever? But
that might have been the history behind it.
yeah, That's what I think may have been the inspiration. But, I mean, he's been doing his thing for a while. He's got a really well-defined kit at this point in the series. His lifespan, the spin, the dive kick, the hat tosses have all been kind of staple moves for him. And it ends up being actually a pretty exciting and fun kit to play with. He's got some new tools to play with around in this game as well, with the form of the Spirit Stance, which was one of the, I thought, really cool things to do.
Oh, he's super swaggy, 100%.
Oh, absolutely. That's death.
Oh, yeah.
That acid underneath him was guaranteeing death here, so Pulse is now moving forward, looking to take the lead here, but we have seen the tenacity from Shinblade. He's not going to be giving this up without a fight.
And did you even see that last round? Pulse even doing the jump kick early to even check if Shinblade was going to try and jump out of it, but no need.
Swing lets it rip with the scud shot point blank. That is, of course, safe on block there, so he is welcome to do that.
Man, this is where Kung Lao, he just has such good speed.
Oh, there it is
Right
again.
when I say that, Pulse with the correct challenge tries to get the roll patrol. Nice jump over. How? Oh my gosh.
Oh no! He spent the crushing blow. Are we discovering that Shinblade might be an easy crushing blow degenerate? That's what that looked like.
I don't know. Maybe he did it by. I've done that before. I spent a crushing blow when I didn't need to.
On a throw though, come on.
Yeah, on a throw. I mean,
I've seen the uppercut ones hit, but a throw, you know, that would make him the second one too. Slick Beats is the same way. He also plays with easy crushing blows. I don't know, maybe it's an Aaron Black and Kung Lao thing. Their brains don't have the necessary cells required.
oh dang. Green Meter busting out that S-Hawk. Oh my gosh, just doing the Z-Hat right in Pulse's face. Pulse able to get away, but not this time. Shinblade's gonna grab him. Oh, but the interactable screwing him over a little bit there. I don't know if that was an error.
That had to have been an error. Do you think he's also got input shortcuts on as well? He's just ruining his life at the character or the controller options screen? Might be.
Oh, that was a very grave error because Pulse was able to capitalize on that error.
Yeah, I
very
mean,
effectively.
you slip up against somebody like Pulse, and they will absolutely take full advantage of that. And that is exactly what happened here. Pulse now going to extend his lead up 2-1 over Shinblade. Shinblade had a great start, but it is starting to slip away. Another thing, too, you can even see him in the chat. He is not thrilled with that random hatchery toss for the egg there that he threw. So he's going to have to kind of shake that off and not let that plague him further in our potential final game here.
Yeah, that is really important. I mean, it's happened to me personally, you know, playing KL and just player matches where the interactable will come out and it's not exactly the right time that you want it to, but I mean, especially in a tournament setting, that really screwed Shinblade up that moment right there.
Yeah, you know what I think happened, what I believe that the reason this happens, because it used to happen to me a lot, is if you have button shortcuts turned on, it will do that. I think a lot of people like to use 1+3 for throw. They don't like to use a dedicated throw button. And what people don't realize is that 1+3 for throw always works whether you have button shortcuts on or not. That's not an actual button shortcut. So if you don't use 1+2 to do interactables or 1+3+4 to do flip stance to do fatal blow, then you actually have no need to turn on button shortcuts. And I would argue, particularly as a Kung Lao player, having to hit 2-1-2-1-2 a lot, you definitely want that turned off, otherwise that will catch you off guard. You can still use the throw shortcut without having button shortcuts on it. I think that is something that people miss. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Unfortunately, getting the block on that dive kick. That pulls a good amount of damage, and he catches him on the roll patrol.
Okay.
Back of his head with his boot.
Pulse definitely looking to turn this around. The big boot drop connects another blocked dive kick. Shinblade perhaps getting a little desperate here, and Pulse is just luring him in, allowing him to kind of hang himself with this overzealous aggression.
Almost with a hood flawless there. Getting the poison out, trying to get that
Controller, hold
spacing
on.
down.
I'm rusty.
combos out of Pulse and with the correct timing right there are hard to deal with. Oh, and again, he's just challenging the Z-Hat. He's gotten to the point where he's already reacting to it in such a way that he's not having trouble with that pressure.
Oh, wow, he whiffed it? Okay, but still no defensive meter to save himself there. And Pulse is ultimately going to end up taking it 3-1 over Shinblade. A very valiant attempt there from Shinblade, though. He was looking to hold his ground, but I really think he may have gotten slightly tilted by that input error, and that definitely kind of bled into his gameplay in the next set, or the next game. But with that being said, we're going to come say hi to you guys as we get queued up for our next set, which is going to be, I had it in front of me and now it's gone. We'll figure it out in a moment.